The following interview I did with Donnie Thompson late May. It's been a while since I've getting around to publishing it, just because I did the trip without my videographer, and I kind of screwed up the audio on a few clips, and this being one of them. So I am asking you to be patient the first couple minutes into this interview. The interview is well worth it. It's a great interview. Donnie and I had a great time, and we kind of summarized our visit and kind of where we're at, where we're going, all that sorts of stuff in the interview. And I hope you'll enjoy. Again, warning, the audio can be a little bit spotty. Chris Duffin. I'm at the compound out in South Carolina with Mr. Donnie Thompson, Mr. 3000, and the Duke as well, as you can see. And doing a shirtless interview. You might ask, well, apparently not wearing my shirt seems to piss some people off on the internet, right?
And I insisted that you had to do the interview with that shirt this time. I mean, if it's going to get somebody mad, you gotta stop. Don't ever.
Just keep.
Yeah, I mean, if I knew I could make people mad, I would have my shirt on. Yeah, if you're pissing people off, you got to keep going on. I mean, this is nothing better.
Something little like that.
Yeah. You know, people and priorities are strange these days. You know, priorities don't seem to be a thing of common sense anymore. So if you see someone without a shirt bothers you, you gotta. So to learn from Donnie and also to share some knowledge. And honestly, the trip has gone much better than I anticipated. I've only spoken to Donnie via Facebook in the past, and it's been a really good exchange. I think we both learned a lot from each other and kind of filled in some of the gaps on both sides. So Donnie's taught me a lot on the body tempering stuff that I think is going to really pay dividends for some of the gaps that I've got and some of the development opportunities that I need to accomplish my goals. And I'm really excited to integrate that into my concepts and programming. In particular, I think most of my viewers know the issues I've got with my elbows, and I'll show a snapshot of how straight we got my arm. But I haven't, even post-surgery, when you're knocked out and you're supposed to have full mobility. My surgeon said, you know, you're at like 10 or 15 degrees, and that's all you're ever going to have. And in about 5 minutes worth of work, they had my arm straight. Now, what we can accomplish if I stick with it with diligence and do the work. So I'm pretty excited. If we can get some movement, you know, over time, if we can invoke change, that's all you can really ask for, because you're already stuck with the 13, 14 degrees lock thing. Now, if we can get that open into 11 to 10, maybe 9 or 8 one day, look all the improvement you'll have on everything else. You know, so it's worth the time and effort in my eyes. You know, plus you have a life to live after lifting, you know.
That's right.
So it's like.
And I like to be able to eat my M&Ms, and right now they still fall on the ground in front of me. It's so disappointing.
You gotta toss them.
Toss them, or like use my uncoordinated left hand. So it doesn't work out.
You talk about knowledge sharing. It was great using the ShoulderRok. You know, it's one thing watching it on film. It's another thing actually standing there and working the range of motion with it, and being, you know, coordinated enough and confident enough and everything, especially if you have any shoulder issues going on. You know, it's one strengthening tool that I'm looking forward to using for myself. You know, but you know, nobody cares about some 50-year-old wash-up. However, I care about that 50-year-old wash-up, so I want to feel good. You know, so you know, I'm looking forward to that strengthening tool. It's the one thing that you know, it's actually using centripetal force and everything. I've always enjoyed that kind of thing, and I'm glad you brought that to the table here. You know, it's pretty cool.
I'm glad you took interest. I didn't come out here to try to pimp the ShoulderRok. I didn't even break it out until we were like almost a day in.
Yeah, that's right.
I came out to actually talk about some other future projects that hopefully you're going to hear about. But to get Donnie's kind of advice and thoughts on those as well as the learning. And I just brought the ShoulderRok along as a gift. I wasn't thinking, I was actually went out thinking that he would really take on to it, because he's got his own methodology and approach to things. And so I was really excited.
Well, like I was telling you, my methods that I've come up with are to prepare you to bench. You know, to get you ready to be on the field. They get all that hypertonicity and stuff at bay very fast to go execute a lift.
but the strengthening stuff is really the athlete's job, you know. And so that the ShoulderRok is the one thing that we can add to the strength repertoire, because it's mobility and all that stuff, but it's strength mobility. So that really is, it kind of really, you know, I hate to compare it to kettlebells, but it's to me, it's what kettlebells were to me 12, 13, 14 years ago. You know, it's like I can do something different to get strong, not just the typical linear lifting that we're all used to. You know, and that is what intrigues me. Some more flavor. You know. Yeah,
and we actually started kind of down some of these paths the same way. Like we had some similar issues. We went to both of us ended up going to kettlebell work. Both of us went away from it because of really the time involvement of it, and that was taking away from training.
I was kettlebelling myself out of my training because I was so sore. I got so into kettlebells. You know, I was like 2.5 hour sessions, and then, you know, I would go to train and I had nothing left. So I had to find a way to integrate kettlebells and powerlifting where I wasn't destroying myself, you know. So it just took such an interest, and I loved it, you know.
And that's how I came down with the ShoulderRok. I mean, it is a classical device, but it was, I need a more efficient manner to accomplish the same goal. So I took that classical device, improved it, actually made it more efficient by changing the design, and then incorporated the DNS clinical principles into the cueing strategy, which we did a little mini clinic out here. And we did
too many clinics, I think.
Yeah, we did. So we did one on trunk stability, which was cued off of, that was actually a really great experience. We were just doing a squat session with the team, and Donnie walks up to me and he whispers, he's like, "Do you see this, this, and this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I've observed all that with the team." He's like, "Well, yeah, I wouldn't mind if they heard it from you too. You know, it's always good to hear from another set of coaches because they hear it from me all the time." I'm like, all right. So we ended up leading into a
mini clinic,
a little mini clinic that we did, and you know, it's great for athletes to hear the things in a different way. And
always, that's why you have to have multiple layer coaching. I mean, you stick with one bit of advice. You know, you're locked in that channel for a while. You've got to have advice. You know, even if it's the same message, sometimes you'll hear someone else better than you'll hear something you hear all the time. And you know, it's like your parents telling you who they want for your, you know, I think you ought to marry somebody. It's like you'll never listen to them. And then at 25 years, say, you know, I should have listened to my mom and dad. They were right about that girl. It's like you don't hear people that you're around all the time. And you know, the nice thing, you came out here from the West Coast. Nobody ever met you before that was here, and all of a sudden you start talking, and they're like, "Man, that really works good," and that's cool because now we all win.
Yep.
And that's the bottom line, you know.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a really good experience on both sides, and I did end up shooting quite a bit of footage that I think I have Donnie's approval to be posting some of it. I'm not sure how much of it, because I'm sure we're going to have some audio and video issues with some of it.
We don't need to share.
Hopefully we've got enough good content that I can get posted up on the YouTube for you guys, and I think you'll really enjoy. And I really appreciate how open and willing Donnie is to share this stuff. I mean, this is you know, this is really valuable stuff. And you know, it's the same. I think he's got a pretty similar approach to me. I mean, we're trying to get as much information out there as we can to help people move better, operate better, feel better, not only perform better as athletes, but as the human athlete in your life to function better. Yeah. So,
because bottom line, you know, meets are great. You know, contests are great. All these things are fun, but there's seasons of that in your life. At some point, the very thing that you loved was training, you know, and I don't ever want that taken from me. I want to be able to train the rest of my life. So I don't want to be, you know, injured up and impaled or something that I can't, you know, do an arm curl. I want to be able to do my things, you know, because I enjoy training. You know, I don't have any desire to compete anymore, but I still love to train.
And everybody I've met that's been in the sport that long time, you're retired, you're not planning on competing again, but he's in the gym training. He's training with his team, and you know, he's past that closer point of his career. I'm getting close to mine, but I've got a few years left. But you know, I'm in the same boat. You know, this is my life. Yeah, this is what I do. And
when you change your careers just to do this, you know, you're pretty serious about it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people, to them it's a hobby. For you and for me, it's not a hobby. You know, this is real to us. You know, it's how we make our living. So we take this stuff serious, you know. And yeah, we're determined, and yeah, and all that other stuff. But when it gets you, me, and a handful of others around this world that do these kind of things, you know, it is not just a job. It's something you're very passionate about, and you know, it's hard enough to get people to listen to the elementary things, let alone, you know, more specific roads to success. And you know, it's kind of nice to be around like-minded people. Like when you come in, it's like when we're talking, because you have some world record squats under your belt, and we're speaking the same language, you know. And I remember when Hoff was here and we're talking, we had the same language, you know. It sounded different, but we had the same message each way, you know, because you both and I are right into the breathing stuff, how we push the abs down, breathe down. You have a little fancier term than I use. But, you know, I was telling you, my big from the 70s, Vasily Alexiev always said, how do you be the world's strongest man? You have to have a stomach that can stop a bullet, was one of the first things he said. And that doesn't mean get as fat as possible, you know. That means you've got to have a midsection, a trunk that is freaking strong.
But people take this the wrong way. We had this conversation, I'll just share it. So many people think that strong core is building strong abs, building strong erectors, right? So they're doing all this repetition work. That's not it. That it's all static. It's static strength. It's ability to hold that intra-abdominal pressurization. It's not how much you can crunch. So it's a different type of strength, and it's often very different than what people are thinking about when they're going, I'm working my core. You're a core strength guy. No. So even I have a lot of people doing ab rollouts and things like that, and all the time I'll see a video of them, or I see them in my gym. I'm like, what are you doing? They're sitting there repping these things out. I'm like, no. Slow down. Just get in different positions and hold correct form. Slowly move through it. Make sure you're moving through it with getting full range of the hip, full range of the shoulder, so you're getting that intra-abdominal pressurization and holding it with those bodies and those different movements and not letting loose. And all of a sudden they go from like 20 reps to 3, and they're like, oh, that is hard.
No, it's like just so that's up.
We're actually working.
I mean, it's a difficult task, you know. And top 5 abdominal trunk exercises are all static, according to research. That's not me speaking. You know, so you know, I'm going to take static pretty serious. You know.
Well, think about any loaded movement that we do. In strongman, Olympic lifting, powerlifting. You know, all of our what I call barbell power sports.
Right.
We're not using them as a mover. It's all static.
Well, I don't hate to turn this interview onto you, but talk about your bar for squats if you can.
Okay. So I'm working on it's a Duffalo Performance Bar.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. Everybody laughs at me, but I'm like, people are going to remember that name. It's kind of silly. But there's a couple basically bent cambered bars on the market. Both are suboptimal. One's a cheap Chinese bar.
That breaks.
That's sold by 2 different companies. And you put too much weight on it, people don't.
It snaps
know
too.
It snaps, or it actually bends, and all of a sudden now the plates are falling off the end. The other one is a high-end bar, at least price-wise, but it doesn't have knurling in the right spots. The material is the wrong.
And you ask them why it doesn't have knurling. We've always done it this way. I'm like, okay.
The knurling wears off. So they do have more knurling on the newer bars, but again, it's still not all the way across where the shoulders are.
Right.
And it doesn't have proper bushings on it. But anyway, the value of the bar is it basically relieves a lot of the stress on the shoulder of a classical straight bar. It is the bar that everybody should be squatting with, basically year-round, unless you're doing like something like a safety squat bar to work on technique or develop more of that core strength. But it is the bar that relieves that bad pressure. It doesn't want to roll off the back. Allows for better scapular retraction. And
safer, not just better scap, but better. The bar is going to allow the scap to actually not impinge. The straight bar does.
Yeah.
But the one thing that when you first told me about it, a couple months ago, I'm like, well, he's making a bar like this one. I wonder what he knows. And then I meet you and I find out how many years experience in manufacturing you have in shops and stuff? 18?
I've been running manufacturing companies for 18 years. CNC manufacturing, electronics manufacturing, automotive. aerospace, done a lot of company, division turnaround.
So I think you might be able to develop your own bar.
I know a little bit about manufacturing. I've got a manufacturing engineering degree.
Yeah, that helps. That helps.
Business degree, all that other stuff. Anyway, so yeah, a little bit of background there. And it'll actually be improved, not just like, better knurling, bushings, proper length so you can actually stack plates on it. Again, another failing. But my bend is I call it a dual radius bend, but it actually seats better on the back and allows than the two existing bars on the market. So
I can tell you one thing is
and I'm going to get you one down here.
As a squat, I love the squat. It's one of my favorite lifts, and you know that. It's one of your favorite. We're going to love. We're going to welcome that bar with open arms. I mean, because we love that Hatfield bar, what they call the safety squat bar. I call it the Hatfield bar. Always will. The Gamer bar is fun. It's just anything but that damn straight bar. And now we're really going to look forward, because one of the problems with I'm not going to say their name, but one of the problems with that bar that we have now is there's not enough collar space. You put the plates and the bands and all that whatever, and you have no room to even hold on to the bar to spot somebody. So this is going to be a nice change and a nice welcome thing to the arsenal.
Yep. So it'll be the best bar of its type on the market, the best bar for squatting that there is, and it'll be priced between the two bars on the market. And also what I like is the football players will be able to use this. That your college and high school, college and pros, and they can get under it, and now their shoulders aren't blasted. I didn't realize you had the exact same thought process and been training the same way that I have. Like, I see people posting up on this bar all the time on Facebook, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that's the bar Duffin uses." Yeah. Because that's what I use year round, except for when I'll do like 4 weeks of meat prep. You're like
I was the same way.
So
same way for years.
We found actually a lot of similarities between our training and approach.
Well, today I'm like, so Duffin, what do you do for your benching? What kind of for your set weight? And you're like, I usually do 5 sets too. And then Retard and I were like, that's exactly what. And it's kind of a direction over the years as you've been training. You find the exact reps and set schemes on your heavier days that really work well. You might add a single here or there or take a double away. It's always, I find all the greats always are, go to the same area, even if they don't know each other's doing it. They stumble on it. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
I mean, I thought that was unique. We had a laugh about that, so.
Well, I've got to hit the road to catch a flight here, so we're gonna sign off. But I really want to thank you for the hospitality.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for coming.
And I'm really happy with what I learned from the last few days. I'm going to put that to place, and I'm excited that I was able to pass along.
I'll just add one more thing. You and I are both talking about squandering opportunity. You flew all the way from here, from Oregon, and you stayed here 2 days, solid days. And over a 3-day period, and you were very very generous with your knowledge to us. You were very gracious on our knowledge to you. However, there were some people here that actually took time. They didn't go to work. They came just to learn some stuff while you were here.
Half a dozen people. They found out the night before.
Right, and they suffered traffic jams, all these other things, and came down here, and that to me means a lot. Because everybody's so caught up in their daily grind, and they won't change ever, but you and I are huge opportunists. We have a chance. I'm stopping my work. I'm stopping everything I need, because if you're coming to town, or some of our friends that we have mutual friends, they come up, I'm stopping what I'm doing, and we're going to learn from each other. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so that's what I like. You're an opportunist, and you came, and I'm an opportunist, and I like that other people stopped their daily grind and came and enjoyed that stuff too. So that's one message if I can get. Don't get caught up in the daily grind of life and let that dictate your future, because a stupid job's a stupid job. I mean,
it's easy to get caught up in routine and tasks.
Yeah.
How important is that, that I've got to do laundry today instead of tomorrow, or that.
And your wife's going to yell at you either way.
You're gonna,
you know what I mean? You're going to get yelled at if you do good. You're going to get yelled at if you do bad. And the kid's always going to be wanting something. So It's never go do something spectacular, you know, and don't feel guilty for it.
I like that.
That's right.
I think I'd get in more trouble if I hung out.
Yeah, probably.
All right, Chris Duffin here signing out. Thanks for tuning in.
Super D. Okay.
What is it? See you on the platform.
See you on the platform. I'll see you on the platform, not me.
If you enjoy the content and want to support the production of further content and also look like a badass, I suggest you go to kabukiwarrior.com and check out these nice Whiskey and Deadlift t-shirts. Additionally, we've got a number of products and new products that we're releasing that will help you perform better and move better, from coaching products to products like the ShoulderRok. So please check out kabukiwarrior.com.